When the hair is pulled from the scalp, some people feel satisfaction. This habit can intensify with stress, building up tension until the hair is pulled. And though pulling might ease that tension, it can lead to visible patches and feelings of guilt. Some people even turn to chewing their hair before biting it out of their scalp. Therapy can help to stop this damaging habit. They demanded his money, but the delivery man refused, so they pulled out a snapping turtle. They pushed the turtle right up to his face, its jaws snapping. The burglars warned him not to move, or the turtle would bite him. The man stayed still while they grabbed his money pouch and ran off with the turtle. If you ate an ant, you might think it wouldn't have any nutritional value, but about 20% of an ant is made up of protein, and a single one would give you roughly 1 milligram. If you ate an entire handful, it would be about the same as taking a small bite of steak. But to match a protein shake, you'd need to consume around 20,000 ants. He accidentally swallowed his dentures and they got stuck in his throat. He was rushed to the hospital where doctors inserted a scope to see what was going on. They were able to see his dentures lodged right next to his vocal cords. They carefully cut him open and gripped the dentures. Gently, they pulled them out of his throat with no damage. If a cricket lost its legs, you might think it would die from the wounds. But if the cricket is young enough, special cells in its exoskeleton detect the damage. They begin to rebuild the stump of the lost limb. And over the next 3 weeks, the cricket's legs grow back. They even include an extra segment, making them longer and thicker than before. They propped his dead body into the front seat and drove to the bank's drive-through window. The women had lived with the man, and one was actually his girlfriend. But when they found him dead, they remembered the cash in his account. The bank teller didn't notice he was dead and let them withdraw the money. They then dumped him at a hospital and went home, but were both soon arrested. If the can rolls into your footwell, the car could speed out of control and crash. You see, in a messy car, a stray can could easily get stuck under the brake pedal. And when you try to stop at a red light, the full can of soda would block the pedal from moving. This means your brakes won't work, and you could be killed by a soda can. He pulled out a gun and fired at the president, but it didn't shoot. Instead of running away, the man pulled out a second gun and fired again. But the second gun didn't work either. The president charged at the man with his cane, hitting him repeatedly. And before he could run away, a nearby crowd grabbed and held him down until the police arrived. He bent down to kiss the mummified hand of Mary Magdalene, but instead of kissing it, he bit into it. The monks tried to pull him off, but he kept chewing on the bone. And finally, 2 small pieces came loose. The monks were angry, but he managed to keep hold of the pieces. He brought them back to his own church as a religious tourist attraction. If you saved all your earwax for a year, it wouldn't even fill a spoon. And after 10 years, you have just enough to make a small candle. Because the average person produces around ½ an ounce of earwax every year, if you collected it for 4,000 years, you'd have about 150 pounds, which would be enough to make a life-size statue. If you strapped a baby to a pair of Cybertrucks to pull them, you would need 5,000 of them just to make them move. Now, if you did the same thing with anacondas, it would take at least 160 of the giant snakes to pull the truck. But if you got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to tow the trucks, you would need just 1.5 of him to get them rolling. A loose cord is tied around the bird's neck, leaving just enough space to breathe. Then the bird dives underwater, hunting fish with its sharp beak. When it catches one, the cord stops it from swallowing. Instead, the fisherman pulls it back to the boat and makes it release the fish. He keeps the fish while the bird is sent back into the water to continue hunting. If an icicle breaks loose and falls to the street below, it could kill you. You see, a single chunk can weigh more than 250 pounds, and as it falls, it gathers speed, racing down at up to 100 miles per second. So by the time it hits you, it would have enough force to crush your skull. And if the ice is sharp enough, it could even cut off your head. You could slip out of the harness during a sharp turn if you're too short to ride. And this happens because the restraints are designed to hold people of a certain size. If you're too short, the harness might not tighten enough to keep you secure. But if you're really fat, the restraints might not lock all the way, which means they could pop open mid-ride, sending you flying. He was fixing the pin setter when it suddenly activated. The machine moved down as if to set up the bowling pins, but the man was still underneath, and the weight of it crushed him instantly. With no one around to hear his cries, he was left to suffer from his injuries, and his body was found the next morning, still stuck in the bowling lane. They smashed her head into the cake, but didn't realize there were wooden sticks inside holding it together, and one pierced her eyelid, getting stuck in her eye socket. Blood poured from the wound as she screamed in pain. She was rushed to the hospital where the stick was carefully removed, but if it had been just an inch to the right, she would have gone blind. The dog was placed in a sack attached to the side of a car, and it would just hang above the road with its head sticking out. The bottom of the sack was clamped to the step along the side of the car, and the top was hooked to an open window. But car accidents usually meant the dog was toast. If you're headed straight for a waterfall and can't escape, position the kayak to face the waterfall and stop paddling. Then hold your paddle with one end in the water to keep you steady. As you go over the edge, throw it behind you and tuck your body forward. This will help you land vertically, and you might make it out in one piece. If you had a whoopee cushion the size of a Cybertruck, it would send out a blast of air strong enough to push your friend over. But if you made it the size of a house, it could blow cars down a street. And if you made it as big as a city, one huge squeeze could rip off roofs, flip cars, and blow trees right out of the ground. Place a trail of bait leading to the door, with the last piece at the far end of the trap. The animal will follow the trail inside the cage, and when it reaches for the last piece, it steps on a trigger plate. Its weight causes the latch to release, dropping the door in place, and a lock keeps it shut until you release it somewhere else. When you shave, the blade scrapes off the top layer of your skin. This can lead to ingrown hairs, where the hair grows back into the skin instead of outwards. Additionally, bacteria can enter these tiny cuts, causing redness and swelling. And over time, this can cause a red rash known as razor burn. If you spun in a circle like a helicopter, you would need to spin over 100 times per second to actually lift off. But at that speed, there would be so much force on your arms that it would pull the blood straight out of them. Your muscles would tear and your joints would dislocate. Plus, the G-force would make you black out before you even left the ground. The cat slipped into the washer unnoticed before the cycle was started. The machine filled with water, spun at full speed, and slammed clothes against the drum. And the cat was trapped in the middle of it. When the owner finally opened it, she found the cat in bad shape, but somehow it was still alive. They rushed it to the vet and it made a full recovery. The stray bullet struck her right in the stomach. It pierced the skin but started to slow down as it entered her body fat. Layer by layer, the fat absorbed more of the bullet's energy, like a cushion. And by the time it hit deeper tissue, the bullet had lost most of its force, coming to a stop before hitting any organs and saving her life. You put the money in the alarm clock before you go to sleep, and when it goes off the next morning, it starts a timer. If you don't get up before it stops, it triggers a small motor which pulls the bill into the clock. Razor-sharp blades shred it, destroying the bill while you sleep. And when you do finally wake up, the remains are waiting for you inside the clock. They surgically removed 90% of her tongue because it had cancer. Next, they cut a muscle out of her arm. They connected the veins inside her mouth and stitched the nerves together. The muscle was stitched onto what was left of her tongue, matching its shape. And even though doctors said she would never speak again, she said hello to her daughter just days later. He inhaled the squeaker from a dog toy straight into his throat, and it lodged between his throat and voice box. Suddenly, every breath he took made a high-pitched squeak. Every time he opened his mouth, he squeaked like a chew toy. Now, he wasn't choking, so at the hospital, doctors just sedated him and pulled it out with a scope. When the trigger is pulled, it forces the liquid medicine through a nozzle the thickness of a human hair. And this creates a narrow, high-speed jet, which pierces the skin and sprays the medicine into the muscle. It spreads evenly through the tissue, meaning your body absorbs it faster than a regular shot. And the whole thing is done without a needle. You would slide your hand in, then curl your fingers into a fist and swing. As your hand hits the enemy's face, a metal bar presses inward, firing a bullet straight from the back of your hand and into the enemy's face. And this allowed you to take out a target before they even realized they were under attack. When a doctor gives you this IV, they insert a special needle into your vein. But this needle is made from a metal that reacts to body heat. As the medicine flows into your bloodstream, the needle begins to soften. This makes it flexible and allows it to move with you. It also has a built-in sensor, which tracks your body temperature and detects leaking. The magician pushes the ribbon inside of a fake thumb, and on the final push, he sticks it on the other hand. When he opens his hand again, the ribbon is gone. Next, he does the same thing on the other side, making the ribbon reappear. And when you're distracted by the ribbon, he ditches the fake thumb in his pocket. Set the seed at the back of your tongue with the point facing out. Then curl your tongue into a tunnel and take a deep breath through your nose. Once in position, exhale sharply from your stomach, forcing the air out through your mouth. At the same time, lean forward and keep your jaw steady, aiming the seed as it shoots out. When the fish is chased, it builds up speed before bursting out of the water. Then it spreads its giant fins as if they were wings, which catch onto the wind. And this keeps it gliding forward for hundreds of feet, leaving the predator behind. Finally, it slips back into the sea, having survived another day. He placed the shotgun inside the headboard and rested it on an internal shelf, while the front panel kept it shut. Now, when the bad guys arrive, he just reaches up, presses the headboard in, and the gun drops down right into his hands. After it's used, he just puts it back in. The panel snaps shut like nothing ever happened.
Could Walt Disney come back to life? There is a theory that Walt was cryogenically frozen when he died in 1966. The rumors say that he was put in a vault under the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. Being cryogenically frozen is legitimate, and people do have the option to freeze their bodies. But did Disney know about this? What do you think? This is Norman. A few weeks ago, I posted a short about this creepy puppet, and you guys seemed to like it. So in an attempt to get the full scoop on Norman, I reached out to his current owner, and let me tell you, the story is insane. Check out the full video on my channel page. This is the world's tallest man meeting the world's shortest woman. In 2018, the pair met in Egypt. Now that's a 6-foot difference, and it made for a striking photo shoot at the pyramids. They described the experience as a dream come true. This is a McPickle. Yes, you heard that right. The McPickle was an April Fool's joke by McDonald's a few years ago. This means it's not real, right? Well, not quite. After seeing the April Fool's ad, a man went to his local McDonald's to order one, and they actually made it for him. This is what the Starbucks logo would look like from behind. This is her tail, and it is spread wide open. Now I have to warn you, the history is creepy, and you might not want to drink Starbucks afterwards. But if you want to learn the ugly truth, check out my latest video on my channel page. Did you know the Easter Island heads actually have full-length bodies? These sculptures were buried thousands of years ago due to shifting sediment, and this created the illusion that they stopped at the neck. But in 2010, a team of archaeologists dug these statues up, revealing that they had full bodies with intricate designs carved into them. Did you know the color of those little bread tags actually means something? You see, bread is one of the most sold items in grocery stores, which means there is a lot of it coming in and out. So to help employees quickly see how fresh the bread is, bakers added these tags. Each color corresponds to the day of the week that the bread was baked. 3 men were banned from Yellowstone National Park, and the reason why is kind of weird. You see, a ranger received a report that these men were carrying around chickens. When the ranger finally found them, they were cooking these chickens in a hot spring. What was supposed to be just a nice chicken dinner ended with fines, jail time, and probation. The Thailand government is mailing trash to people, and the reason why is kind of weird. You see, people who visited Khao Yai National Park had a really bad habit of leaving their trash behind. So the Thailand government decided to mail the trash back to these people. They made sure to leave a note saying they forgot something at the park. What do you think? Should the United States try this out? Have you ever wondered why beer is always sold in glass bottles? I mean, soda is sold in plastic bottles, but beer isn't. So what's the deal? Well, some people think it's because of tradition, but the actual reason is more important than that. You see, plastic is porous, and this means that bottling in plastic negatively affects the taste and carbonation level of the beer. This is the Starbucks logo from behind. Her tail is spread wide open and her chest is bare. Now, I have to warn you, the reason for this design is kind of creepy, and you might not drink Starbucks afterwards. But if you want to learn the disturbing truth, the link is in the comments. Have you ever wondered why Walmart has greeters at the door? Well, if you thought the main purpose was just to greet people, you'd be wrong. The actual reason is a little less friendly. You see, Walmart greeters first popped up in 1980 when a local manager noticed that shoplifters were less likely to steal if they were greeted at the door. Have you ever wondered why pen caps have those little holes in them? Well, most people think it has something to do with the ink, but the actual reason is much more important than that. Pen companies are actually required to add these little holes. You see, it's just enough space for airflow if the cap gets stuck in someone's throat. Have you ever wondered why we get goosebumps? I mean, they don't seem like they have an actual purpose. So what's the deal? Well, we know that goosebumps elevate body hair, and for animals, this makes them warmer and appear larger. But what about humans? Why do we get them? Well, scientists say it's just a leftover trait from when we had more hair. Have you ever wondered why McDonald's soda tastes so good? Well, the company claims it's because of their chilling process, but the true reason has less to do with the actual drink. You see, McDonald's straws are actually a little wider than normal. This allows more flavor and carbonation to hit your tongue, making you think the soda tastes better. Have you ever done one of these security tests? Well, what if I were to tell you that you've been misled? You see, most people assume it's just a way to prove you're a real person. But have you ever noticed almost all of these tests are related to road activity? Well, it turns out that your answers are being stored as data, and that data is being used to teach cars how to self-drive. Have you ever wondered why so many fast food signs are red? I mean, can you think of any fast food sign that doesn't include the color red? Why is this? Well, some people think the color red triggers hunger in our brain, but that's actually not true. Studies have shown that this color makes us stop, look, and pay attention, which makes it a really good choice for fast food signs. Have you ever wondered what's on the inside of a Kit Kat bar? Well, they claim it's just a crisp wafer, but what they actually use to make it might surprise you. You see, some Kit Kats get broken while they're being made, and instead of throwing them out, the company crushes them up and adds sugar, and that's what's on the inside of a Kit Kat bar. It's literally crushed up Kit Kats. Have you ever wondered how people woke up before alarm clocks were invented? Well, you might think they just woke up naturally in those days, but that wasn't always the case. In the 1800s, people were actually hired to be alarm clocks. They were called knocker-uppers, and they stayed up the entire night to make sure workers woke up in time. Have you ever wondered where Mountain Dew got its name? Well, you might think it represents dew on a mountain, but that's actually not true. You see, two brothers created this drink in the 1930s, and they realized it tasted like moonshine when they mixed it with alcohol. So they decided to call it Mountain Dew, because Mountain Dew is actually old slang for moonshine. If you've ever wondered why dog toys squeak, well, I have the answer, and it's kind of disturbing. You see, even though the noise is annoying to us, Dogs love it because of their wolf ancestry. The squeaking activates their hunting instinct because it's the same sound a small animal makes when it's dying. Bob Ross actually hated his poofy hair, but he was kind of forced to keep it. You see, when he was first starting out, he needed to save money any way he could, so he decided to grow his hair out so he wouldn't have to pay for haircuts. And by the time he became rich and famous, it was too late. His hair had become his brand, and cutting it would be terrible for business. If you've ever wondered where fat goes when you lose weight, well, I have the answer, and it's kind of bizarre. You see, most people assume that fat just disappears when you lose weight, but that's not really the case. It turns out that most of the fat you lose is exhaled when you breathe, and the rest comes out through urine, sweat, and tears. You know those height strips you see on the door at convenience stores? Well, believe it or not, those don't exist for you to see how tall you are. They actually serve a very specific purpose, and it's probably not what you think. You see, convenience stores get robbed a lot. So these height strips were added for people to report the height of a fleeing robber. In 1963, an Air Force plane accidentally flew into space. This made the pilot of that plane the first US citizen to go to space, and it was completely unintentional. This happened because of two small errors in the plane's ascent. These errors pushed the plane past the 62-mile space boundary. Have you ever wondered why bagels have a hole in the middle? Well, some people think this is just for aesthetics, but the true reason is actually pretty important. You see, when bagels are placed in the oven, the outer part of the dough starts to cook first, but because of the hole, the heat circulates up through the middle, which bakes the bagel more evenly, and this results in a perfectly cooked bagel.
There's this house in Poland that claims to be the narrowest house in the world. Now, there are many narrow homes around the globe, but what makes this house unique is the fact that it's only 4 feet wide. And despite its small size, it's a fully functional house with all the amenities of a modern home. What do you think? Could you live in a house this small? Did you know Google is actually misspelled? If you search GOOGOL, you'll see the huge mathematical number 1 followed by 100 zeros. This is what the founders of the company wanted to name it. But when they registered the domain name, they accidentally misspelled it as GOOGLE, and the rest is history. Royal guards faint all of the time, and believe it or not, there is apparently a fainting protocol they have to follow. In order to faint properly, guards must learn how to faint to attention. This means if they start falling, they must pitch forward onto their front while still holding their rifle securely, which is why they typically end up looking like this. Have you ever noticed those little cameras next to traffic lights? Well, if you ran a red light with one of these cameras, you probably don't have to worry. Now, while some states do have cameras that will ticket you, they make those pretty obvious. But these cameras on top don't usually record anything. Instead, they're used to monitor traffic in real time. Have you ever noticed that each dollar bill has a letter? Well, if you thought it was connected to all of the other dollar bill conspiracies, you would be wrong. The actual reason for these letters is much less suspenseful. You see, the Federal Reserve has 12 banks across the US, and these letters indicate which of the 12 banks the dollar bill came from. Your toilet shoots out poop particles when you flush, and if your toothbrush is sitting nearby, well, then you're technically brushing your teeth with poop. Now, it's a microscopic amount, and it shouldn't make you sick. But still, if you want to completely eliminate poop particles, just hide your toothbrush and close the toilet seat when you flush. Soccer balls are made of pentagons and hexagons, and the reason for this is actually pretty important. You see, if they made a soccer ball with only pentagons, it wouldn't be a ball. It'd be a dodecahedron? But when they throw in a few hexagons, the shapes fit together like a puzzle to form a perfectly spherical shape. Have you ever wondered why most barns are painted red? Well, there's actually a pretty solid explanation for this. You see, back in the day, there weren't any Home Depots where farmers could go buy paint and sealers. So instead, they made their own out of linseed oil and rust, a concoction that turned out to be red. And now this color is tradition. Have you ever wondered why we use use the letter Z to indicate someone is sleeping? And it's kind of weird when you actually think about it. But the reason we use Z's is the same reason we use words like or kaboom. These are called onomatopoeias, words that are formed from a sound. And these Z's are formed from the sound of snoring. Have you ever wondered why you can hear the ocean in a seashell? I mean, we all know what you're hearing isn't actually the ocean, but it does sound like it. So what's going on here? Well, because most shells have a cavity, ambient noises are amplified and reverberated, which can sound similar to ocean waves. But you can get the same result with just your hand. Have you ever wondered why milk jugs have these dimples on the side? Well, believe it or not, they actually serve a functional purpose. You see, the dimples give the jug more flexibility, which can prevent it from exploding if it's dropped. And if you ever see the dimple pushed out in the fridge, it most likely means the milk has gone bad. Have you ever wondered how a barcode works? Well, believe it or not, it's actually pretty simple. You see, each line on a barcode represents a number, and when it's scanned, the light gets absorbed by the black lines and reflected by the white lines. This pattern is read by the scanner, turned into a number, and correlated with a specific item. Have you noticed most highway signs are green? Well, the reason for this is actually pretty important. You see, signs like stop and wrong way are painted red to catch your attention quickly. But this would be too distracting on a highway where the signs are mostly for locations. So instead, they made the signs green, which is a calming color that's not too distracting. A dentist cuts a flap in your gums right above your front teeth. Then, a very small drill carefully files down the bone on top. Once the bone has been shaved back, the teeth are now more visible. The gums are reshaped and stitched into place on your nice new smile. If you have hammer toe, a doctor will make a small incision over the joint. Then the bones are filed down in preparation for a long metal pin that is inserted to hold them in place. This pin sticks out of your toe while it heals, providing stability. And after several weeks, the toe fully heals and the pin is pulled out. A contact lens can sometimes slip up under the eyelid and become stuck. This can occur when eye movements displace the lens from its proper position. Now, normally, you can use eye drops to moisten the eye and dig the lens out. But sometimes, if you can't reach it, a doctor will have to pull it out with tweezers. When you pull the trigger on a flamethrower, it opens a valve near the bottom, allowing fuel to be pumped from a pressurized tank. The fuel travels through a hose towards the nozzle and is forced out the end at a high pressure, at which point a small flame ignites the fuel as it comes out, which produces a continuous stream of fire. If you detonate a claymore mine, it causes an explosion behind hundreds of metal beads. Now, these beads are embedded in a curved plastic backing, which directs the force of the explosion outwards. As they shoot out, they cover a wide area in front of the mine, causing severe injuries and worse. If a jet goes super fast, it can actually push the sound waves in front of it, and this causes them to literally pile up. After a while, the jet will eventually break through this pile of sound waves, resulting in a sudden change in pressure and causing a sonic boom. If you shot at a World War II helmet, most people think it would stop the bullet. But these helmets were made of steel and were designed to protect against shrapnel and debris. Now, if the bullet was shot at a certain angle, the helmet could deflect it under the right circumstances. However, direct hits would almost always just go right through, to the lamp to explode violently. This shot out shards of glass in all directions, and one piece actually penetrated the man's heart. But he was alone and couldn't call for help. The wound caused rapid blood loss and severe trauma, and by the time EMS arrived, it was too late. A thin tool will slide under the nail and gently lift it away from the nail bed. Then the doctor carefully pulls the nail upwards until it detaches completely and is pulled out of the skin. Finally, an ointment is applied, and the toe is wrapped in a bandage to protect it while it heals. And the new nail may grow back slowly over a year. If you aim directly at the back of a urinal, the force of the stream can cause the urine to splash back on you. Now, some people might try to aim lower, thinking this will help, but it often makes the splashback worse. Instead, angle your stream towards the sidewall, where it meets the back. This diffuses the force of the stream, making the impact softer. Their necks extend far outside of their shells. When they chomp down, it's like an iron clamp with muscles that don't easily release. Snapping turtles have an incredibly strong bite that can even break bones. And they don't just bite, they refuse to let go. They have been known to hang on for minutes, even if you try to pull them off. If a spider gets lodged in your ear, resist the urge to dig it out with objects. Instead, mix half water and half hydrogen peroxide and pour it into your ear. Wait about 5 minutes for the bug to drown. If you don't, it could damage your ear while it tries to crawl out. Once it's dead, you can tilt your head and let your ear drain.
কিন্তু এই চার লাইন তোমরা বাসায় প্র্যাকটিস করবা, ঠিক আছে?
ও এটা আরে এটা অচেনা শহর, অচেনা মানুষ।
একজনকে তো অন্তত ছিল।
হ্যালো, আমি শুভ।
চাবাস। পরের চার লাইন আবার আমরা আগামীকাল শিখবো কি? কি হয়েছে বলেন তো?
জীবনটা
ভাইয়া কেমন আছিস?
কেমন আছিস রে? পড়াশোনা? আসসালামু আলাইকুম মা, কেমন আছো? টুম্পা কেমন আছে?
আমি ভালো আছি।
কোনো সমস্যা হচ্ছে না?
কথা বলবেন না কিন্তু আমার
উল্টা পাল্টা কথা কি এর দেখছো? উল্টা পাল্টা কিসের কথা দেখ?
অবাক হলেন? বছরখানেক আগে পারিবারিকভাবে দুই ঘরের নামতা, দুই ঘরের নামতা এখন আমি জিজ্ঞেস করব। কি হয়েছে?
কান্নাকাটি করছিল জন্য আজকে ওর জন্য পিস্তল নিয়ে এসেছি, ভালোই হলো।
সেটাও ভাবছি, আবার এও ভাবছি যে এরকম একজন প্রভাবশালী।
আপনার লুক ভালো, তাই আপনি হিরো হতে পারতেন।
অবস্থা খারাপ করে
ভালো অ্যাক্টিং করেন।
হ্যাঁ, হিরো হতে পারতাম না। ওটা বাড়ি থেকে ফোন, মিথ্যা না বলি।
ব্যবসা করেন, অনেক বড় ব্যবসা।
বাইকটা নষ্ট হয়ে গেল, অনেকদিন পর বাচ্চাদেরকে এভাবে দেখলাম, খুব ভালো লাগছে, সুন্দর।
চিন্তার কি আর শেষ আছে রে মা?
আমি তন্নি, এখানেই থাকি।
আচ্ছা, না আমি এই রাস্তাতে যাচ্ছিলাম, হঠাৎ কাজটা করতেছি না, উনি ফোন দিচ্ছিল, তো একটু টেনশনে পড়ে গেছি। কাজে লেগে গেল, তাই না? আমি এটা রেখে দিই।
সত্যি?
আপনার কথা বিশ্বাস হচ্ছে না? খেলা মানে ওই আপনার মতো সামনে একটা ভাই আছে, উনিও বাচ্চাদের পড়ান। যাচ্ছে উতলা, আমি যে না রাস্তা ক্লিয়ার করার কথা বলতেছে না, সে বিয়ে করতে চায়। আমার মনে হয় আপনার উচিত এসব ঝামেলা থেকে সরে যাওয়া।
না, আর রাস্তাটা ডিস্টার্ব করবেন না।
মানে আমি তোমাকে ডিস্টার্ব করি?
ওকে, তাহলে আমি আপনাকে একদিন রান্না করে খাওয়াবো। আমাকে
জি।
জ্বালা।
কার ফোন ছিল?